This week we start in the far west coast of Africa, where another tiny nation got embroiled in scuffles between the army and some rebel factions, forcing the president to dissolve parliament. Guinea-Bissau's leader Umaro Sissoko Embalo issued a decree saying that the date of forthcoming legislative elections will be set at the opportune moment, in line with the constitution. Earlier, it was Sierra Leone having to deal with another attempted coup. How fragile are these nations in that region? Let's find out in this cover report.
This is Bissau, the capital of Guinea-Bissau. The streets slid back to silence after a day of gunfire and clashes between two army factions that broke out after National Guard soldiers freed an opposition minister. Fighting began overnight and continued into the next morning after soldiers from the National Guard stormed a police station where Finance Minister Suleiman Sidi and Secretary of State for the Treasury Antonio Monteiro were detained after their arrest. Guinea-Bissau army footage shows rebel members of the National Guard being held prisoner by the army following overnight clashes in the country's capital. Guinea-Bissau's President Umaro Sissoko Embalo said the deadly violence involving members of the National Guard was an attempted coup as the army ordered them back to barracks.
I came back immediately because of this coup attempt, but I can assure you that there will be serious consequences. There will never be another theatre. The theatre of 1st of February is already over, and all those involved will pay dearly.
Since gaining independence from Portugal in 1974, the small West African nation has seen a series of coups and coup attempts. Embalo, who was elected to a 5-year term in December 2019, survived a failed overthrow in February 2022.
On Monday, a commission of inquiry will be set up, and you all know who is involved in this coup.
As history would have it, the tiny nations that dot Africa's west coast from Benin to Senegal, with the omission of Ghana and Ivory Coast, have had their fair share of coups or attempted coups. The administrations have also been very fragile, and some lasted for only limited terms. The situation in Guinea-Bissau occurred just days after another clash in its close neighbor Sierra Leone. The West African country was thrown into panic when the assailants sent gunfire ringing across the capital, Freetown. The government blamed renegade soldiers that it said had been repelled.
We are praying for this not to repeat because this country belongs to all of us. If this continues, where are we supposed to go? Because we will not have this kind of peace in another man's country.
Sierra Leonean authorities were treating the clashes that killed 21 people as a failed coup attempt. The central prison and several police stations were stormed during the violence. More than 2,200 prisoners escaped, of whom 124 have been recaptured.
Their action was premeditated and coordinated and was executed to unseat the democratically elected government by violent and unlawful means, topple constitutional order, and reverse our decades of investment in peace and democracy.
The unrest in both Sierra Leone and Guinea-Bissau sparked fears of another coup in West Africa, where Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger and Guinea have all experienced pushes since 2020. Sierra Leone experienced a political crisis after elections in June, the results of which the main opposition disputed. An agreement was reached in October following mediation by the Commonwealth, the African Union and ECOWAS. President Bio himself led a coup in the 1990s before handing over power and returning to politics as a civilian years later. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.